Good morning, Year 6. It is Monday the 6th of July and today we are solving two-step problems. So our first anchor question. So we're looking at this. Are the following statements true or false? So if x equals 4, then 5x plus 1 equals 25. So we know here, like we've looked, so 4, and 4. Okay, so it is there. And then, so 5x, so 5 lots of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 5 there. Plus 1 equals 25. Well, 4 times 5, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Add 1 is 21. So that top statement is false. Let's have a look at this second one. If y equals 3, then 3y minus y equals 6. So again, 3, and 3. And then we've got minus 3 here. So y equals 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 6, 9. Minus y, take away 3. So we have got 6. So this bottom statement, is true. Have a look at the next question. So match each equation to the value of a. So 5a minus 7 equals 23. So what we've talked about is we need to move this minus 7 to this side of the equation. So it becomes a positive because we've come over the equals. So this side we would have 30. And then we're left 30. So we're left with 5a equals 30. So a would then equal this top one, 30 divided by 5, where you get 6. So there we go. So 5a equals 6. So we're moving to there. Next one, a half a plus 10 equals 12. So again, we move it round. So we take this plus 10 and we move it this side of the equation and it becomes minus 10. So we have, let's use the pen, so we have there 12 minus 10, which equals 2. So half a equals 2. So, but we haven't got a 2 there, so there's a half of a, so we need to double that, so 2 times 2 is 4, so that one would become there. And the last one, 7 equals 6 plus 4a. So again, move this to this side. Number 6, and it's a positive 6, no negative. So here, 6. Okay, 7 take away 6 is 1. 1 equals 4a. So 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. So we can see that's our last option. So here, that is correct. Just going to have a look at today's video that will help you with your learning.
Hello there and welcome back. Today we're going to look at solving some two-step equations and we're going to start off with a bit of a story. So, our friends Mo and Tommy go to the shop. Here they are. So, Mo goes to the shop and he buys 2 chews and a can. Tommy just buys a can. So Mo pays £1.20 for 2 chews and a drink. Tommy pays 20p for a drink. So the question is, how much does a chew cost? Pause the video, have a think for yourself. Let's have a go at representing that problem. Here's Mo and here's Tommy. Mo bought 2 chews and a drink. And we know he spent £1.20. Tommy just bought a drink. And he spent 20p. So let's exchange those items for bars. So we've represented the 2 chews with 2 bars of the same size, and then a drink. Whereas Tommy just bought a drink. Now, we know the cost of a drink because Tommy only bought a drink. So Tommy spent 20p, so a drink must be worth 20p. And we can do the same exchange in Mo's bar model as well. So let's think of what we've got now. We know that 2 chews and 20p gives me a total cost of £1.20. So, if I want to work out the cost of 2 chews, knowing that a drink costs 20p, if I take away 20p from how much Mo spent, it means that the 2 chews must have cost £1. So, in order to find the cost of 1, I would need to divide the £1 into 2, because there's the equal cost. So therefore, 1 chew must be 50p. So then, 2 similar stories here. They both want you to work out how much a chew costs. So pause the video, have a go at these 2 problems. Can you work out how much a chew costs? How did you get on? Let's represent both problems, but we'll start off with the top one. So, he buys 4 chews and a drink. We know the drink costs 20p because Tommy pays 20p for one. And we know altogether that costs £1.20. So then, 4 chews plus 20p is equal to £1.20. But I want to work out the cost of 1 chew. So, if I remove the cost of the drink, I can see that the 4 chews would cost £1. So if I want to find the cost of 1 chew, I could divide it by 4, which means that 1 chew is 25p. What about the bottom problem? Same amount of chews, but this time the drink is 40p, not 20p. But the total cost is still £1.20. So 4 chews plus 40p is £1.20. So, if I take away the cost of the drink, I can see that the 4 chews would be worth 80p. So to find the cost of 1 chew, again I would divide it by 4, which means that 1 chew costs 20p. Now then, we're going to represent it using a Partwhole model, and in this case we've got Partwhole model. So, 1 part, another part, and another part. And the whole is 15. So we want to work out the value of one of the cubes. If the cubes could represent any number, but the blue part represents 3 ones, what would the value of one of the cubes be? Pause the video, have a think for yourself first. Let's have a look together. So, we might think of these as either 2 x's, but we're going to think of them as 2 cubes. So 2 cubes plus 3 equals 15. Let's represent the cubes by the letter b. 2b plus 3 equals 15. If I subtract one of those parts away, what would I have to do to the whole? Well, I'd have to do 3 subtracted from that as well. So 15 subtract 3 is 12. Now then, that 12 represents 2b, or 2 of the cubes. How could I find the cost of 1 cube? Well, I could divide that by 2. So that means that 1 cube was worth 6. So, 2 for you to have a go at now. Can you work out the value of the multilink cube? Pause the video, have a think for yourself. Let's have a think about those problems then. So on the left, we can represent it by thinking about, well, it's 2 of the cubes plus 5 ones is equal to 15. So if I take away the 5 ones, I have to do the same to the whole, So that would leave me with 10. So 2 cubes are worth 10. Divide it by 2 to find out 1 cube, which would be worth 5. And on the right, I can see the whole is 30. And 2 cubes plus 2 ones is equal to 30. So again, if I take away 2 ones, I can see that I would have 28. So 2 cubes is worth 28. Divide it by 2 to get one of the cubes. So one of the cubes is worth 14. Now we're talking. Okay, there are 3 jars of cookies. And each jar has got the same amount of cookies in it. But we don't know how many cookies there are in each jar at the moment. Oh, hello. Hello, Eva. Oh. Eva takes 1 cookie from 1 jar. And she's run off with it. Typical. Now then, there are 11 cookies left altogether. How many cookies were in each jar before Eva took 1 of them? Pause the video. Have a think for yourself before we have a look at it together. So, let's visualise that problem. Let's empty out our cookies for a start. And there's our 11. Maybe that helps you visualise how many were in each jar. Let's think about representing this problem though. So, we're going to represent the amount of cookies in each jar with the letter X. And we can say it's 3x because each jar's got the same amount of cookies in it. Eva takes 1 cookie from 1 jar. Let's represent what she's just done. She's just taken 1 cookie from 1 jar. So she's gone, subtract 1 cookie, and now there are 11 cookies left altogether. Here are those 11 cookies. So the 11 represents the 11 cookies left over altogether at the end. Now then, one thing I could do is, if I can visualise adding that cookie back on, I can see that now the 3 jars have got the same amount in. So in essence what I've done there is added that cookie back on. And I can see that 3x in this case will be equal to 12, or the amount of cookies in 3 jars is 12. So how did I find out the amount of cookies in 1 jar? Well, I have to divide it by 3, because there are 3 jars. So, if there are 12 cookies in 3 jars, in 1 there would be 4. So, there will be 4 cookies in each jar. And we can see that here. Okay then, some expressions for us to think about. Can you work out the values of k and x? Pause the video, have a go for yourself first. Let's have a look at the first one. Well, if I subtract 3 from 5k, it leaves me with 27. So if I think about putting the 3 back on, that means that 5k will be worth 30. I'm almost cancelling out that to subtract 3. So if 5k's are worth 30, how could I work out the value of 1k? A bit like thinking if I've got 5 jars and there are 30 cookies in it, then I could see that actually each jar would have to have, well, it'd be 6 in it, because I can divide it by 5. What about the other one? If I subtract 2 from 3x, I'm left with 19. So if I add that 2 on, I can see that 3x must be worth 21. So to find the value of 1x, I could divide it by 3, which means that x would be worth 7.
Okay, so have a go at the worksheet that you've got. So it should look like this. And also don't forget to have a look at learning by questions.